Hi everybody, it's Becca. I thought I would do a pregnancy update and let you guys know what's been going on, because a lot of stuff happened. And I haven't done any update videos because I've been waiting for the ultrasound so that I had something to update, because my symptoms were relatively mild and I was just kind of waiting for the ultrasound. So we'll just, for anybody who hasn't watched my previous videos, for anybody who hasn't watched my previous videos, I've been trying to conceive for 3 years. Naturally doesn't work. We've tried everything. I've changed my diet, vitamins, everything. I don't eat wheat, dairy, eggs, soy, are the main ones. Found out I had food intolerances to them. But despite all that, we still couldn't get pregnant. But all of our doctor tests and everything came back normal, so we have unexplained infertility. So fast forward 3 years, after doing all this over and over again, frustration, we've stopped trying, started trying, timing, temping, anything you can pretty much name we did, naturally. So here comes the summer. I have my summer off because I'm a teacher. I have time to do appointments, I have time to do meetings. I don't have to be anywhere, so I'm able to book things during the day, which is when everything's open, and we decide, alright, we're going to do an IUI. So I did acupuncture with it. I did a session of 6, all in the week I was ovulating. Make sure I did it right before, after. The IUI was done on July 25th. We took letrozole. I think another name for it is Fermera in some places, but ours was called letrozole. And I didn't think I was pregnant. I got a negative test. I tested a little too early. Then I got a positive, and I was on vacation when I got my positive. So it was stressful. I had to wait a few days till I could go to the doctor. Went to the doctor. He did just like a urine test, said, yes, you're pregnant, let's do some blood tests. I did blood tests for 2 weeks, twice a week, so 4 blood tests, and the doctor said my levels were going up nicely. We went in, and my family doctor doesn't do prenatal, so we switched over to a prenatal doctor at the same clinic. So he looked at the test results and told us they were great. So I think, okay, he says you don't need to keep taking tests twice a week. We're going to say we're good to go. My first appointment booked for him to see him again was October 23rd. They don't want to see you until like 12 weeks. I applied for a midwife. I was put on a waiting list, so I didn't get the chance to do that. Then Saturday rolls around, and Saturday was, let me just look at my calendar, the 14th. So September 14th rolls around. I'm supposed to work that day. I've been having minor cramps, and a little bit of nausea, not a lot. A touch of spotting, not a lot. Then Saturday comes, and I wake up, and I just feel dizzy. I can hardly walk. I can hear the blood pounding through my ears. I have major cramps. I figure since I've been super constipated because of this pregnancy, it probably has something to do with that. And I'm just dizzy, and like I stumble upstairs. I figure, okay, maybe I just need to eat something. I get super nauseous. I take a couple bites of something, and I think, okay, I have to go to the bathroom. So I tried to go to the bathroom. That was super painful. It just made me more nauseous. I just wasn't feeling well at all. So then I sit down, I eat some watermelon, I drink some water, take some breaths, and the dizziness goes away. My vision got blurry. I started seeing spots everywhere. and I was like, oh my goodness, something is wrong, something's going on. So I canceled where I was supposed to work. I went into the walk-in. The doctor had me do a urine test. He said it looked clear. Asked if I had any spotting. I said just a little bit, not a whole lot. He pressed around on my stomach, took my temperature, and basically said, you seem fine. The cramps are just your uterus growing, and everything else are just normal pregnancy symptoms. Don't worry about it. Sometimes they happen all at once, whatever. Wait till your ultrasound on Thursday, just to make sure that you and baby are fine. Go home. Don't worry about it. That's what I got. So the 15th, 16th, 17th, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of September, I'm nervous. I'm still feeling cramping. I'm not feeling well at all. Cramping is worse. Sometimes I would get sporadic shots of pain and then nothing. And I didn't go back to the doctor because he told me basically basic pregnancy symptoms, don't worry about it. It's just how it is. Take some Tylenol if you're feeling too much pain. That's what I got. So Thursday finally comes. My ultrasound is at 1:15. I have to be there by 1. I'm done teaching at 11:30 that day, which is why I was able to book my appointment then. I'm really nervous about it because I've had my spotting. I had a few heavier days, a few pretty much non-existent, and a couple little clots. So I'm thinking, okay, the doctor just told me to brush this off, but I'm worried I'm having a miscarriage. So I was extremely nervous going into the ultrasound. All I had was half a pepperoni stick for breakfast that day. I couldn't eat. I was so nervous. I drank so much water. I actually had to empty part of my bladder because it was too full. So anyway, I'm waiting at the ultrasound place. My husband gets there. I have to go in first to do the medical part, and then they bring him in after. So when it was finally my turn, she just said, okay, so I'll do all the medical stuff, and then you can go get your husband, and then I'll turn the screen and I'll show you and take pictures of your baby. Okay, so I sit down, and then she's doing her thing, and she starts asking questions like, when was your last positive pregnancy test? Did you get a blood test? Did you get a urine test? How long since you've seen your doctor? Have you ever got an internal ultrasound before? And I knew something was wrong immediately. They're not going to tell you anything, but I knew something was wrong. And so I emptied my bladder and I got an internal ultrasound. I'm thinking, okay, maybe the baby's hard to see. I don't know. So she took pictures. She's like, I'm going to go give these to the radiologist and see if she needs more pictures or not, and then I'll bring her in and she'll come talk to you because I'm sure you want to know what's going on. I knew something's up. She wanted more pictures, so I get a second internal ultrasound. While they're sitting there, her and the ultrasound tech doing their medical talk. So then she goes to me, okay, do you have anybody here with you? And I said, yes, my husband, and I told her his name. His name's Kale, and he's in a red shirt today, and so she went and got him. And meanwhile, between my first internal ultrasound, I was waiting on the table for 20-30 minutes before the radiologist came in. So of course my mind's just spinning. And my husband comes in and they tell us there's no baby in the uterus. So okay, I'm having a miscarriage. I had a miscarriage, but they go, in your right tube, where you've said you've experienced most of your cramping, we see a mass. We are not sure if it's ectopic, but we think it is. We're going to send the pictures over to a specialist and see what they do, and then she basically put us in this room called the comfort room. So I'm getting all these texts from work, so I'm supposed to get the ultrasound, take 30 minutes or whatever, and come back, and it's an hour later, and nobody's heard anything from me. So my work's texting me, wanting to know what's wrong, and so I just figured I might as well tell everyone, not pregnant, so, start texting everyone, telling them I'm not pregnant and that I'm waiting to find out what the plan of action is, that I might have to go to emergency. This just happened, so I'm a little emotional. So they tell me that they come in after a little while of us waiting. She says, "Okay, we're just waiting to hear back, but if, in my professional opinion," is what the radiologist said, "if they say they don't want to see you, go into emergency anyway because I think you need to be seen." She's like, "It rarely happens where they don't believe us, but sometimes they don't believe what we see, and I just suggest you go into emergency if that happens." So I'm going, okay, this is an ectopic pregnancy. She comes back a little while later, says, "Yeah, go to emergency." So about 12:40 I got to the ultrasound place. By the time I'm out of there and at the hospital, it's 3:30. So we've got 3 hours later in the time frame of this ultrasound. So, and the waiting and the finding out what's happening. So I go into emergency. My husband basically drops me off, says he has appointments. He's upset. He doesn't really want to be around. So he had to go pick up cat food and go to the chiropractor and sign up for his curling or whatever. Meanwhile, I'm a wreck. So my mom comes, because I'm bawling in emergency pretty much. The nurse who was checking me in from triage, she's like, "Oh, did you get an ultrasound because you thought something was wrong?" And I said, "No, this was my first ultrasound, and then this is what happens." And I just go, "It is what it is," and getting emotional. And she's like, "It's not, it is what it is." She's like, "I understand this is hard." And I guess she had gone through a few infertility things, so she understood a little bit. So she gave me some tissue and took my blood pressure and did all that. And my mom, I am still waiting there, so about 2 hours later, while I'm waiting in emergency and it's by myself, is when my mom comes. She calls me on the phone, and of course I burst into tears, and I'm just like, she's trying to talk, and I'm like, I don't want to talk. I'm surrounded, a room full of people, in emergency. I don't want to burst out crying with all these people around, so I wouldn't talk to her. And eventually I got called into the minor injury waiting room. I was there for, probably my mom got there after she was done work, so she got there around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Probably around 5, so probably a couple hours after I got there, around that. And she's really mad at my husband for leaving me at emergency by myself, and my husband basically is thinking, he just basically told me, "Go do your thing, send me a text, let me know how it went." Which to me was extremely insensitive, and we had words about that, but so I'm waiting with my mom. At about 6 o'clock, the specialist is finally in. She sits down with me and my mom, because my husband's not there, and she explains what she thinks. She says, "Yes, it's ectopic. We're going to give you a shot where you have to take a blood test to get your levels, then we'll give you a shot of methotrexate if your levels are below 10,000. And if they're higher, then I would probably recommend surgery, but it's up to you what you want to do." So I said, "Well, I want to do the shot that before surgery, if that's at all possible." And she said, "Yeah." So, and then I'd have to get my blood monitored every week until my levels went down to 0. So I'm crying while she's explaining this, and my mom's like, she's crying, and she's like, "Can you please tell her that she can get pregnant?" Because at this point it's like, well, I can't. And she said, "Well, the good news is a sperm and an egg met, and they fertilize." So she's like, "Your husband has sperm, you have eggs. So there's no saying that you can't have a healthy pregnancy in the future." She was really good. I wish my husband had been there to hear her. Anyway, he's at home at this point, and I basically send him a message saying, "Well, you either come or I won't be coming home when this is done, because you need to be here." So at about 6:30ish rolls around, and almost close to 7, and my parking, of course you have to pay for parking, is almost out. It was out at 7. So my mom wanted to put more money in, and he came. So my mom there was only allowed one person with me, so my mom went out and was waiting in the waiting room, and I told her to go home, and she went home. She still stayed for a couple hours, but then she went home. And then my husband, he was there, so we had to talk about, being there and whatnot while we were waiting. And so we were waiting and waiting. I get my blood test, and I have to wait 2 hours for the results of the test. And they put an IV in, and I almost passed out. They got it in the first try, thank goodness, but they got it, there was only a blood vein like right here, so I couldn't bend my arm. So they got it first try, but it was, I almost passed out because I'm terrified of needles. I'm getting like needle after needle here. So I got the blood test, and so a few hours later, so it's probably 10 o'clock by this point. So this is from 1 o'clock, well, basically 12:30, now it's 10 o'clock at night, and I've been just waiting to find out what happened. So my pregnancy hormone levels are at 13,000, the gynecologist said, and my husband's there, so she introduced herself. She said that she would feel anxious giving me the methotrexate, and then I'd have to stay in the hospital for a week, and she'd have to monitor me, and I said, okay, you're the specialist. If you would feel anxious about doing this, then we're getting the surgery. And I'm terrified about getting surgery. I don't want to die. I don't want the anesthesia to do like something. And so all those fears and whatever are going on, and I have to wait until the surgery room's ready. So at about 12:30 at night, so this is at least a couple hours later, they move us from just sitting on chairs in the emergency waiting room to me and my husband go up to a hospital room. So then I wait there for another hour and a half, 2 hours or so. The timeline's a little fuzzy, but basically at 1 o'clock in the morning is when I get this emergency surgery for the ectopic pregnancy. So she tells me, like, we might have to cut you open like a C-section. We're going to try and save your tube, but we might have to remove it if you're bleeding or if anything. And she wants to get it done right away because she doesn't want my tube to rupture. So I go in and they do the surgery, and it's about 4 in the morning, 3:34 in the morning now. My husband is in the room, so he texts everybody for me saying that I'm alive and I got out of surgery. The doctor's talking to me in the morning, so I had to have the oxygen in my mouth, like in my nose, which every time a nurse came by I would ask if I could get it out because it was itching so bad. They said no. And so every hour on the hour they kept checking my blood pressure and doing my vitals, and I think I got blood taken, I don't know. So at about 7 in the morning a nurse wakes me up, which I'm absolutely exhausted because I've been at this for since 12:30 the day before. So she takes my blood, and then a little while later the doctor comes in and tells me that my tube has been ruptured for days, not hours, days, probably on Saturday when I went to the doctor. So I went to the doctor on the 14th with all those symptoms, and that was my tube rupturing. I didn't have my ultrasound until the 18th, and I'd been walking around with a ruptured tube, and I'm lucky I didn't die. Excuse me. I was furious. I called my husband. He was furious that this hadn't been caught. I was roughly 9 weeks pregnant, and nobody caught this at all. They said looking back on the blood test, my levels were not doubling. They were close to doubling, but they weren't. Doctor never said anything about that. He just said my levels were going up great, and they were going great. So you don't need to get more blood tests. Well, no, they weren't. They weren't doubling you. So she said, sorry, my stomach still hurts. She said that I'm lucky, and she'd never seen, I guess my body, as soon as it ruptured, took like fat cells and things and just surrounded the eruption. So that's why I only had minor bleeding, no fever, no extreme pain, just like sharp little cramps here and there. So I was working, I was up, I was doing stuff for 5 days with a ruptured tube. So I'll never be going to that doctor again. And then, of course, he came and saw me that day. My husband wasn't there yet. If he was there, he would have lost it on him. And he just said, well, you're in good hands, and I guess your other tube will just have to work extra hard. That's what he said to me. I was just like, oh, I was angry. And I said, yeah, well, she just said that my body was healing itself, and that's why I didn't have a fever. But so it just brushed everything I felt was just brushed off, and I was walking around with a ruptured tube for 5 days. This could have been caught way sooner, and I could have still had 2 tubes. So she had to remove the entire tube. I'm not doing fertility treatment again. Me and my husband talked about this. It's too dangerous. With this ectopic pregnancy, there's no way. We only have 1 tube left. And we can't get pregnant naturally because we've tried that for 3 years. So, that's it. We're done. So, he doesn't want to go to counseling about this, but I do, especially after the whole him not coming to emergency and just tell me to go do my thing. And we've talked about it, and he still doesn't want to go, so I just pulled the card. I need to go to counseling over this, and I don't want to go alone. So he said he'll come if I don't want to do it by myself. So I'm just going to use that. And so I got to find a grief counselor. So I was in the hospital. So Thursday, did the surgery. I was in all day Friday, and then I got out of the hospital Saturday around lunchtime. Sunday, I just hung out at home, took painkillers. I don't have to go back to the hospital unless my bleeding and clotting get heavy, which it's light right now, so I'll just watch that. Or if my cuts get infected. So I have 4 incisions, 4 on my lower stomach, where the surgery was performed. So my levels were at 13,000, which is why I got the surgery. The next day they were at 9, and then the day after that they were at 3,000. So they're going down a lot. I have to get a blood test once a week until they hit 0, and I have to meet with the gynecologist in 2 weeks. So I think probably Wednesday, when I'm feeling a little bit better, my husband's going to drive me to the blood clinic, because I can't really drive right now, because bending forward, that's why I'm leaning back, it hurts, because I have incisions in me. They did my belly button, 2 on my side, and then below my belly button is where my 4, and then I had a little one up here, but that one's already gone. So she said that she looked at my other tube, and it was perfectly fine, but we're not doing fertility treatment again, and we can't get pregnant naturally, so unless some sort of miracle happens, but I don't want to go through this again right now, and I mean, we're not going to be trying for a long time. First I have to heal, and then heal physically, and then heal emotionally. The only good, only good I can think of is, yeah, an egg did get fertilized, even though it was right at the top of my tube, right beside my ovary. Didn't even roll down even a little bit. The right ovary is more active than the left. They couldn't even find the left on the ultrasound before, so I know I was reading that eggs can kind of transfer from one ovary to the other and go down the one tube. The other doctor who came to see me, who released me, said it doesn't mean I have a 50% less chance. It just means I have a little less than 100. That's what he said. So within the span of 24 hours, I went from my first ultrasound to emergency surgery, and that's where I am right now. So I wanted to give you guys an update, let you know what happened, and kind of let you know my symptoms, because if this is happening to you, don't let your doctor brush it off. Get an ultrasound, get it checked, because 5 days with a ruptured tube, I could have died. 5 days. I can't even believe it. So I have to take an entire week off work. The doctor said I wanted to go back to work today. It's Monday. She said because of how emotional and physical and everything, and I work with little ones, and I have to do a lot of bending, I have to take the week off. So my boss is covering for me. since I teach in a preschool, we don't have subs, so she's teaching for the week. I have my lesson plans there, so she just told me don't worry about it. We've got it covered. She came and saw me in the hospital. My kids made me a little get well card, which was really sweet. They drew little pictures on it and put a lot of rhinestones and things because they know that I love playing. And it was really sweet. I got lots of messages from all my family with lots of support. And I just have to go to counseling and get through this because it's really raw right now. I'm still in shock, and I'm angry, and I'm sad, and I'm shocked, and I can't even. I have so many emotions right now going around that I can't even. Like, why wasn't this caught? Like, of course I can't get pregnant. This was too good to be true. Like, just like all these different thoughts are going through my head right now. And it's hard. So I'm not allowed to move around a lot, but I have to move around a little bit because it helps with surgery. So yesterday I made chicken noodle soup at home, homemade, because obviously I'm not eating all that stuff still. I don't know if I'm going to stick with this because, I mean, yeah, I'm allergic, but am I that, like, I don't know. I have to decide about it. But right now, while I'm healing, I'll stick with it. It's just so much, it's a much more expensive way of eating and a lot harder to prepare, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. So, anyway, thanks everybody for all the support and the positivity when I let you guys know that I had a positive pregnancy test, and I just, yeah, it was ectopic and my tube was ruptured, and it didn't stand a chance from the beginning, and nobody picked it up, but I keep saying this, it is what it is, because what else can you say? So, thank you guys, and I probably won't have any more updates regarding TTC, but I do have a video I filmed a while back that I just haven't uploaded about some gluten-free foods that you may want to try. So, alright, this video is getting way too long, so bye everyone.